WhiskyJason here. Hi, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting really rare and exotic whiskey. These were all bought at the border shop in Puttgarden, Germany, on a boat from Denmark and they're travel retail. No one else basically has them. Tomintoul Tundra, I did my video about that, all purple. Even the letters in the back or the writing in the back is purple. I wasn't particularly fond of it. It was okay, but not wow. The Tor, so the port, sherry, or Oloroso cask finish, I liked much better. Very, very nice, good design, red every place. So, and of course, if you have bourbon, you have sherry, you have to have peat, and that's our tarn. And it's always wild in nature, and it's always gentle in spirit. That's one of the things Tomintoul always has on their logo, Tomintoul the Gentle Dram. All right, so this is so rare that there isn't even a whiskey-based number for it. So sorry. So I'm going to pour this in here. I do think that it has artificial coloring added, but they did not put one note or another on the tin or on the bottle. Now, what we have here is high in the Cairn Gorms small mountain lochs called tarns have developed due to glacial movement. So if you take a look at a map of Scotland, up on the right-hand side at the top, so in the Highlands on the east side there, you have a distillery called Tomintoul. And south of that, you actually have a national park called the Cairn Gorm. And in that Cairn Gorms, you have those lochs, which is a sea, a lake, and they have been developed due to the glacial movements. The name Tarn comes from the Old Norse word tjorn, T-J-O-R-N, meaning pond, and some of these spring water lochs have existed for over 10,000 years since the last ice age. Now, many tarns are surrounded by ancient peat. And it is this peat influence that shapes the intense, smoky, and sweet, earthy character of Tomintoul Tarn. Now, I like that story. I would love that story if they actually got their peat from that national park. But I think it's going to be illegal to actually take peat from a national park. So, that's that. What am I going to compare it to? Now, on the tasting notes here, it says, so peat forward with whiffs of campfire smoke and burnt heather. Now, that word heather just triggered me, and I had to think of only one thing out there. Highland Park 12. All right, so this is going to be my comparison whiskey. This is 40 euros and 60 cents for a 0.7 liter. It's 57 euros for the 1 liter bottle. This is around 33, 32 euros at the moment over here in Germany. 40%, 40%. 12-year-old age statement, no age statement. So somewhere it says here natural color. It has to say natural color because it's always natural color here. Why doesn't it say natural color on here? Let's see if it says in the bottle someplace here. Tasting notes, bottle, cork vol, no. Bottled, nope. But I have in my head that Highland Park never puts coloring in there. Why doesn't it say it? Why doesn't it say natural color? One of those things we want at the moment. So please, 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 all distillers, put the word natural color, if it is on the bottle, on the packaging. There's so much other stuff there that's less important to us about it. Put that on there so we know. That would make us happy. And you want happy customers, don't you? Yeah. All right, on the nose, it's sweet. It's a sweet, peaty, earthy, a little bit of smoked ham moment going on in there. I like this a lot. This is actually a B plus, no, sorry, not B plus, C plus, B minus on the nose. And I'm not a peat head, but this is really, really nice. My whole experience at the moment with the Tomintouls have been excellent nosing. The bourbon, the Tundra was really nice in the nose. The Tor, the Oloroso sherry was very, very nice in the nose. And the Tarn is also very nice in the nose. And each and every time the experience on the palate was less than the nose, unfortunately. I don't know if that's because of the tasting experiences, and I don't know because they actually make these casks and marry these casks and taste it at 20% and 30% rather than the 40%. There are many reasons why the nose can be excellent, and then the actual taste experience can be less excellent, and that's the way things are. Now, this is better than this on the nose. The Highland Park has more of a sour moment, a sour grape, sour dunnage warehouse type of mustiness, which this does not have at all. This is bright, this is clean, this is very, very sweet, this is very, very nice. It's not wrong, it's not bad. And that heather peatiness comes through. If I remember correctly, Highland Park produces with their own malting floors 30% of their own malt. All 30% is done in a peated fashion, and the other 70% they actually buy from outside the distillery, and it's all peated malt. And they mix that in various degrees together. That's why you have something that's more of a lightly peated, more of a heavily peated. It has to do more with the amount of peated malt that goes in there. If I got any of those numbers wrong, please tell me, but I think I'm fairly certain that I understood the Highland Park concept finally. All right, let's try this. I do like that nose. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's that very smoked ham type of moment. Um, the peatiness turns instead of sweet, earthy into a more of a meaty type of moment, cured ham type of moment. Not perfectly what I love. Personal opinion here. All right, on the nose it says it's peat forward with whiffs of campfire smoke, red that and burnt heather that opens up into aromas of honey and orchard fruits. It does have that honey moment and those red orchard fruits. On the palate, sweet and smoky with layers of peat. Boiled sweets. I have no idea what boiled sweets are. I know what sweets are, but how do you boil them? Vanilla pod. Ooh, that's expensive. And hints of soft licorice. There is something funky going on in there. It's more of a black licorice than a red licorice. Someone described it recently over here from Germany. In America, they think they have licorice. Those Twizzler type of things, that's not licorice. That's just artificial stuff. Real licorice is blah, 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 what we have in Scandinavia. Um, I just love that. It's like the Americans think they have licorice, but it's not. That was really, really good. And the finish is a nice balance of fireplace peat, or sorry, fireplace soot, and vanilla sponge cake that leaves a long, sweet, and smoky linger. I must admit, whoever writes the tasting notes here, well done. Vanilla soot and fireplace soot and vanilla sponge cake. Imagine you dropped your vanilla sponge cake into a fireplace. Ugh. Would not drink that. This is much better. What they don't mention is that cured ham, that cured meat moment. It almost has a tiny, tiny little bit of like a beef jerky, like a cheap, fake big beef jerky moment there. Um, it's still a C to C plus whiskey. If I were to rank the three of these, I would definitely put the Oloroso sherry first. I like sherry better. I would put the Tan closely followed. And then way, way back behind there, I would actually put then the Tundra, which means it's very difficult, apparently, to get a very nice bourbon matured whiskey out on the market. I would have thought that must be the easiest. You just take first or second fill bourbon barrels, boom, put it in there for 6 to 8 years, and then 40%, ta-da! But the Tundra had that artificial caramel taste that just turned me off. All right, let's go over here and see which one I like better. Do I like the Highland Park 12 better, or do I like the Tomintoul TARN better? That has a little bit, it's weaker in taste. It's watery. This is, it is 40%. This is 40% as well. Um, but this still has more of a of mouthfeel, of the smokiness. This is somewhat weak, and this is a little bit. It has more sweetness and it has more peatiness than this. Um, I think there's actually a tiny little bit of sherry involved in here, isn't there? So the result is intensely balanced single malt Scotch whiskey, a perfect harmony of aromatic smoked peat. Now I understand that, and the flavor of sweet heather, honey, and rich fruitcake. Wow, we had the same words here. Smooth, full, and round. It's a whiskey that truly stands apart. So, all right, good. But I thought this was not a pure bourbon cask matured thing, but rather some cherries in there. All right, I'm going to give this a C plus, and for value for money, C. Question of the day: what would be your favorite under 50 euros, 50 pounds, $60 peated whiskey? Not from Islay. I know you had bing, 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 kill Islay. We don't have Islay anymore. We have to eliminate it. What would be your favorite here? Now, there are quite a few that at least are available in my country that I could talk about here. Some of them are, of course, from the up in the north, from Highland Park. But we do have something here, for example, wow, Talisker. Anything from Talisker would be a possibility. Artmore, the Portwood finish, very good. Legic, you could talk about. You could talk about here the Balachin. You could talk about the Aaron Machri Moore. Forgot about that one. You could talk about the anything from Buna. You can't Babuna. You can't mention Ben Romach. Also Ben Romach, 10-year-old, for example, from Tomaten. Buchen? Oh, I don't even know how to say it anymore. Kabuchen. Yes, exactly. Glenfiddich, Fire and Cane, you could mention. You could actually mention Longrow, peated. What is so embarrassing, we did a lowland taste with 6 different whiskeys, and the only one that was peated because it was voted in there was the 1770 Glasgow peated, rich and smoky, and it won hands down. All right, it beat everything else. That was the best whiskey there for everyone else. Wolfburn, you could have mentioned. You could have also mentioned Ben Riach. They have the Smoky 12 now. And we also have maybe Rase, which is smoky as well, which over here in Germany, under 50 euros. Amazing. And that's it. All right, so I'm sure you can find a couple other examples of bottlings out there that are under 50 pounds, 50 euros, and under 50% ABV that are peated that you could say, hey, good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for being part of this Tomintoul series, Tan, Tor, and Tundra, TT&T. And I will see you soon here. All the best, Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.